Everyone, Janet here at the 4-H office with today's 4-H fun project. Today we're going to make something quite cosmic. We're going to make some cosmic sun catchers that can be hung in your windows or is a good deterrent to critters getting in the garden. If you create this glittery sun catcher and hang it to keep the birds and the woodchucks and everything else out of the garden. So for today's project, what you're going to need is a plastic lid, any size that you'd like to use. You'll need a hole punch, either clear or white glue, doesn't matter. You'll need a pair of scissors, some yarn or twine, something to hang your creations. You'll need a toothpick, as well as a bunch of different food colorings. So to get started, we're actually going to take our lid and create our circle shape for our sun catcher. What I'm actually going to do is use the back of the lid that has an edge to keep all of my glue in place. So I'm going to use the clear glue. Both glues will dry fairly clear. The white glue actually will have a little bit of a milky color, so if you want something totally clear, just purchase some clear glue. I'm just going to open up my glue, fill the top of my lid, not over the edge, but close enough to the edge to create a nice circular shape. The glue will spread itself out. If you want, you can buy bigger bottles. You can actually get glue in a gallon jug if you're planning on lots of projects. So to just kind of fill our shape in. Also good if you're working on a level surface here. My table seems to be a little bit slanted, so all my glue is running to one edge. So I'm just going to spin it a little bit, try to get it to even itself out. Put some final touches on how much glue I have. Remember, the more glue you use, the more days or the longer it'll take to dry. This project, when I created my first one for today's video, actually took 4 days to dry. So our next step, once our glue is all around the edge of our lid, is to take some food coloring. Remember, the more colors you add, the more likely it is to turn brown or black. So I'm only going to use 2 shades today. I'm going to use a regular green, and I'm just going to drop some colors on top of my glue randomly. It's always good too, if you have a work surface that you want to keep nice, put some newspaper or cardboard down, because food coloring is very hard to get off surfaces. So my second color, just add some drops. And now for the fun part, we're going to take a toothpick. If you don't have toothpicks, a stick will work just fine, anything with a fine point. And we're just going to swirl our colors together to make a very cool pattern in our glue. So just swirl, and when you're happy with what you've created, let's see if I can back it up here, what you're going to do is just let your sun catcher dry. So I did make one ahead of time. Like I said, it did take 4 days for it to dry. Set that one there. My sun catcher I made, I used clear glue, I used some reds and pinks and a yellow. I also used the inside of the lid, which wasn't a great idea because I created this really weird edge. That's why I brought my scissors today. I'm actually going to cut the edge off to get something a little nicer. You'll know when your sun catcher is dry, it'll start peeling off the lid. Don't peel it ahead of time. Let it dry itself and start peeling off itself. That way, you know, totally dry. You won't mess up the colors. You won't have glue everywhere. And you won't rip it when it comes out. So I'm just going to trim up this edge so I have a nice flat round circle. And once it's trimmed, my next step is to put a hole in it so that I can hang it. If you want, you can keep the edge if you kind of like it. My interior looks like this. It actually looks a lot nicer on the camera than what I'm holding. So my next step is to take my hole punch and just to put a hole fairly far in so it doesn't rip to make a hanger. My final step is to grab my yarn, twine, fishing line, whatever you feel like using. Sorry, I got a piece cut. Cut a piece of twine or yarn to make your hanger. Find my hole. I just made a loop. I'm sticking the loose ends through the loop, pulling a little tight, not too bad, to create my hanger, and knot at the other end. And you have your cool cosmic sun catcher and critter deterrent for the garden. If you hang these out on some posts, the sunlight will catch it and the movement will help keep the critters out. So for more great ideas on projects you can do at home, visit Shenango County 4-H on our webpage, also on Facebook, Shenango County 4-H, and our YouTube channel, Shenango County 4-H. Have a great day.